This is Mouth Media Network, the business of being heard.
Weird facts. Cotton candy was invented by a dentist. A cloud can weigh more than 1,000,000 pounds. The sea-dwelling comb jelly has a disappearing butt. And funny people talking is still here, folks. What a wacky world. This is Funny People Talking.
Hi, this is Chris Murphy, comedian, as on Instagram. And I would rather take a shower while someone flushes a toilet bowl than listen to funny people talking.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Funny People Talking. I'm one of your hosts, Mark Rako. Boy, did I celebrate myself right there. But more aptly to be celebrated is my good friend and co-host, Dresden Engel. Dresden.
I celebrate you, friend. Thank you. Thrilled to be here.
Back at you. Confetti all over the place. And, of course, with us, as per usual, also our good friend. I don't know if she thinks of us the same way, but we like her, and it's our producer, Elsie. Hi, Elsie.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. Thanks.
And now glitter all over the place.
Glitter all over.
Yeah.
Purple glitter.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Elsie? Elsie, did you miss us
Yeah.
on our little break? Yeah?
Yeah.
I missed you, hon.
It's good.
So,
I'm glad to see you.
Thanks.
on the show with us, a very nice gentleman. He's been around. His name is Chris Murphy. He is a long time veteran. Gotta be easily well over 25 years. Comedian, comedy coach. He's appeared on the A&E, Evening at the Improv, Caroline's Comedy Hour, Comedy Central's Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn, where I believe, Chris, you were a contributing writer to the show. You have a lot of impressive friends that you know in the comedy world. And most recently, just personally exciting to me, he is joining the list of teaching artists as part of AHA Broadway's comedy classes for seniors and
Fantastic.
veterans. My wife is one of the co-founders. Heather is one of the co-founders of AHA Broadway. And I'm so
Nice.
excited to see that you've decided to join on in that really, really cool organization. So Chris is with us. He does not mess around. He has been around the block. And I dig it so much, Chris, that you are not someone that keeps it all to yourself. You want to share it with others and inspire them to do what you've done. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, I hope I can follow that intro.
Well, you will follow it because I just said it and you're next. So, and
Yeah.
Boom.
boom.
Or
So-
I hope I can live up to the intro. I
Oh,
should
no,
say.
exactly.
You were being humble, and Mark didn't have a good comeback. So, in the end, you still win. You still
So
win.
really what I am is a prime candidate for Chris's comedy class, I guess. So we're going to have a good time in the show. We are going to do another round of rhyming the headlines with Elsie. We're also going to play a brand new improv game to us, pulling one off right out of the box, brand spanking new. We're also going to talk to Chris all about Chris. And I just can't wait. But first, super, super, super quick, Dresden. I noticed that you are wearing unusual headphones we've seen once before. Are they lions? Is that what they are? They're lions with manes?
They are lions with manes.
This is real, by the way. I'm not making that up.
This
She's
is real.
really
This is
wearing
insane.
headphones.
I saw them in the store shopping with, teenagers in the mall. So you end up in all kinds of crazy stores. And I saw them and I thought, wow, a podcast, funny people talking, maybe I could wear them and be funny. And now, because they're the only ones in the office, I'm a little mortified now that I see them. But I will admit that off mic, I did say to Chris, maybe it's some kind of a bad $1 Princess Leia fantasy, but we'll see.
Is there such a thing as a bad Princess Leia fantasy? I'm not sure. So,
Well, I don't know if my plus size gold bikini would. Yeah. So yeah, there is such a thing as a bad Princess Leia.
and scene. Very nice. All right. Well, thank you very much, Dresden. Let's get started with the show. So, Elsie, why don't you let me extend the offer to you to tell me to start the show.
Mark, start the show.
All right. Fair enough.
From the Mouth Media Network studios in New York City, this is Funny People Talking with Mark Rako, Dresden Engel, and Elsie.
All right, everybody, you are listening to Funny People Talking with our esteemed guest, Mr. Chris Murphy. I didn't get a chance on our last show to tell you, but I had to share something real quick that I am getting my second vaccine shot in a couple of days. But my first vaccine shot, which I had an appointment for, of course, Chris, because it's possible that Dresden and Elsie may know this. So I had an appointment, show up for my appointment early. How long do you think I waited to get my shot? Take a wild guess.
2 minutes.
More than 6 hours.
Oh my
no
God.
lie, true story. Outside in the cold, by the way.
Could have flown to California or Ireland.
I literally could have.
Yeah.
And when I got there, there were still like 4 different or 5 different layers of things that I had to go through before I could actually get the shot and be done. My appointment was at 6:15 in the evening. I got home at 1 in the morning. And I have literally never been colder in my life. And one of the interesting things that happened was when, and by the way, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, because I'm actually not, because I understand that we've rolled out a national vaccine program like in no time. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be holes in the process. A lot of it's held together by baling wire and duct tape, basically.
Yeah, but that's okay. We women complain about how many hours we were in labor and we love our babies. So if it was a horrible experience, it was a horrible experience.
That's right. Thank you for that. Well, anyway, I've never been colder in my life ever. But one of the things that happened was, at some point, one of the lackeys went back and told a bunch of people in line that if you had a certain type of condition, you could step to the front of the line. And of course, when they got to the front of the line, all of us were like, oh no, ho, 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 ho. And they were like, wait a minute. We can't get seen first now? You made us step out of line. Now we got to start waiting all over again. I thought they were going to have to call the cops. Like, it was getting intense. And then I hear about all these stories about people that just kind of walked up and literally, like Chris said, it's been like 2 minutes for them. They get their shot and they leave. I chose incorrectly where I did this up in the Bronx at a library or something.
Now you have a war story. You have yet another war story from the pandemic.
Well, yeah. When I'm old, I can say, you know, in 2021, when I got my vaccine, there was no instant time travel vaccine back then. You had to actually wait in line. I waited for 600 hours both ways in the snow. I just had to share that quick little horror story. Okay, here's the capper, Chris. You know, my reward for it was someone stuck a piece of metal in my arm and pierced my arm and put in some disease in my arm to try to prevent me from getting a disease. That was my reward.
Which one, Pfizer or Moderna?
At least it was Moderna.
Right.
I don't know why I said that, but
This show is sponsored by Moderna.
Has everybody here gotten their shot yet? Chris, have you had an opportunity yet? Or
I have not. I'm probably going to go with Johnson & Johnson in a couple of weeks.
One shot, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I tell you, I'm not a thin woman. And so I was with a male friend of mine and I said, well, I'm too healthy. I don't qualify yet. My husband's had it, but I haven't. And he goes, you qualify. And enough said. That was his very nice way of letting me know. So I did sign up the next day for my vaccine.
Wow.
I'm thinking twice about it because Johnson & Johnson they own the Jets, so maybe I shouldn't go with them.
Oh,
priorities straight. You get your priorities straight there, sir.
Hey, Dres, the next time your husband, I don't know if he does this or not, but the next time he maybe nags you because you decided to have that extra cookie or whatever it might be, you just say, leave me alone. I'm trying to qualify for something.
I like that.
All right.
Yeah,
there you go.
Right.
There you go. I've got goals.
The only thing wrong with me.
That's right. I'm ambitious. That's all I said right there. I'm ambitious. I'm not large. I'm ambitious.
I'm focused.
All right. Before we get to our improv game, I wanted to invite Elsie. One of our most fun bits was when we invited Elsie to read Elsie, Chris, real headlines, weird headlines that are really in the news. And Elsie is so good at poetry slamming. She genuinely is that she will pull a poem, a rhyme out of nowhere, inspired by that headline. She has not seen these before. I swear to you, she's making these up on the spot. So are you up for this out of the gate here, Elsie?
She loves bacon, she's cantankerous, and her cat's an adjustment. She's the producer, it's Elsie.
Do little headline rhyming?
Sure.
Go,
Sure.
girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the first headline. The headline is, again, this is real. Mom left roaring with laughter as daughter gives baby brother a thug makeover. Mom left roaring with laughter as daughter gives baby brother a thug makeover. Elsie.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Where is this located?
This, I believe, was in the UK, hence the word mom.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. All right.
Okay. So, Elsie, make a rhyme.
A mom with 2 kids who are cute as a bug till the little daughter changed her brother to a thug. Living it out in the UK today. I hope those kids are doing okay.
Beautifully done. A little life lesson in there too. The more you know. Very nice. Good. Okay. Beautifully done. Chris, give that a rating out of 10 if you would. 1 to 10.
Well, since I can't do it, I have to give it a 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. I like Chris's logic there. It's good logic. All right. Elsie, next headline. We're doing 3 of these. Next headline. This is real. People left in stitches after noticing X-rated pepperoni pizza design on Domino's ad. People left in stitches after noticing X-rated pepperoni pizza design on Domino's ad. Elsie, make a rhyme.
People left in stitches, don't consider them snitches because they commented on an ad. It may not be so bad, but in what they saw, it seemed pretty raw. It was rated. Totally debated, but I'm going with so what?
Oh, that's brilliant. Nicely done.
Lamb. Nice.
Is that another 10, Chris?
Yeah, I really like the so what part.
Yeah. I like that. Was a left turn right there. That was you didn't see that comment. That was a good one. Nicely done. All right, last one, Elsie. Here we go. Again, a real headline. Mom, another mom apparently. I don't know what's going on. Moms in the UK, yes.
All right.
Mom urged to move house after overhearing daughter's creepy comment to, quote, imaginary friend, unquote. Mom urged to move house after overhearing daughter's creepy comment to imaginary friend. Elsie, I dare you, make a rhyme.
Mom moving house because her daughter was talking. Wasn't quite sure if it was a friend or someone stalking. Moving the house, it wasn't no mouse. It came to an end because of the imaginary friend. Peace out.
Another tag, another button.
Nice.
Beautiful. Chris, might as well round third here. Your rating for that one.
Yeah, so she has a 30. She's 3 for 3.
Solid 3 for 3. Thank you. Chris Murphy, everybody. Chris Murphy giving his official seal of approval. Very nicely done, Elsie.
Elsie, I'm impressed, my friend.
Very impressed. You deliver again. Well done. That is Rhyming the Headlines with Elsie, the producer. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to play an improv game. And then right after that, we're going to talk to Chris Murphy right after this.
It's probably pretty telling that there aren't any action figures of podcasters or comedians. Just saying. This is Funny People Talking.
All right, Chris, this is where we get to have some fun. It's time for an improv game. But first, really, really quick, before I forget, a bit of housekeeping. It's time for our salute to Tina Fey. Every single show, we pray to the comedy gods that somehow, some way, Tina Fey, we've done this for a long time, Chris, somehow,
Very
some
long
way,
time.
Tina Fey will appear on the show, do a drive-by, send us a telegram, whatever she needs to do to connect with us. It will make our day. There's reasons behind it. I won't get into them now, but we pray to the comedy gods. You may observe or you may participate. It's entirely your choice, Chris. Elsie, do you want to lead us off in our...
I just need to jump in. I don't want to scare Chris. The reasons behind it just have to do with a lot of near misses. And it's just meant to be. She's on the show. I don't want it to scare him. There's reasons behind why we want Tina.
And stalking, but...
Back there.
No.
Okay, let's go back to
No. Thank you, Dresden. Dresden, ever the PR...
Yeah,
manager.
the day job. The day job. I never can shut off the day job.
Exactly. It's like Dresden, just joking, Engels.
Well, wait. Let me ask Chris.
I'm not making fun of you.
Chris, were you hung up just even for a second on Mark saying we're going to conjure Tina to come to us, but we got reasons behind it. We're not going to get into it now. Did it concern you a little?
No, I was still focused on what the heck's going to be asked of me later. So. I'm like, oh,
fair
no.
enough. An honest
I have
man.
no idea if I'm that interesting enough to fill this kind of time.
Oh, you will. I have questions for you.
Oh, we have questions, Murphy.
We have questions.
All right.
All right, but right now, Tina, come to us.
All right, Elsie, lead us the way.
You know, we've been doing this for years, literally, and we just ask, please. So we just need you to be here. Text us and
Tina Fey,
sign a
join us.
a headshot and say thanks. Good
Tina Fey, join us if you would. Join the show. Just a drive-by. We don't care. We love you. Amen.
It's all good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. Our improv game.
Hey, Chris, I always ask this. Is she in your phone? Do you know her?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Okay.
You could be BFFs. It could happen.
Chris Murphy, everybody. Thanks for coming by.
And now, an improvisational comedy game.
I have pulled an Audible in the middle of the show, and instead of pulling a brand new one out, I have made a decision. We are going to go with an old favorite, which is Audible. See, I pulled an Audible, and then we'd go with Audible.
Nice.
And you know how, Chris, in like football games, they'll do an audible where they do a play that wasn't planned, and the quarterback just kind of yells a play in the middle of the play, and then they change the play on the fly. So that's the same idea here. The concept of this is that we're doing a scene and someone else will yell audible, and in that moment you have to change what you're saying to something else. And the person will continue to say audible after everything you say until what you're saying satisfies them. So, for example, I might say, today I ate a pear, and Elsie might say audible. I ate a banana. She'd say audible. I ate a kangaroo. And until they think it's funny enough, they're going to make us keep going until we say something.
When they stop yelling audible,
That's
is when you know you can proceed to your rest of the story.
So we're going to demonstrate. So
we're saying eating, so I'm assuming we're going to keep this clean, right?
No, you don't have to. I mean, it's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to put no limits on your comedy here. So to demonstrate, Elsie, why don't you and I lead off? We'll demonstrate, and then Dresden and Chris, if you're so inclined, Chris, can do a rounding. You'll see how it works, and we'll do 2 rounds of this all together. So what I like from you, Chris, is a relationship that Elsie and I have in this scene. Any relationship in the world.
For some reason, what's popping into my head, I don't know why, she is a zookeeper.
Beautiful.
Fun.
A zookeeper. And who am I to the zookeeper? What is my character?
I'm sorry, but you're a janitor.
I'm a janitor. You don't know. I may aspire to be a janitor. You just fulfilled my wish.
Yeah, but some of the things you may have to clean up, it won't be fun.
Fair enough. That is true. They are much larger in a zoo too.
So he's giving you material because he's a comedian.
I know, exactly.
He's writing
it. He's a writer. All right, so here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I did not? Dresden, would you yell audible in this situation, please?
Okay, friend.
Miss Elsie, I'm sorry. I was wondering if I could have a little time off. I have
audible.
I was wondering if I could have about 15 weeks off.
Audible.
I was wondering if I could actually continue to be paid and have off indefinitely, possibly never come back. I have a few things I need to do.
What could possibly take you that long? And who do you think's going to do it?
Well, I have been training an intern that
Audible.
I have been training my mother, who, honestly has been cleaning a lot of stuff of mine for.
Audible.
I thought that maybe you could do it.
Well, here at the zoo, that's not my job.
Audible.
Here at the zoo, that could be my job, but I refuse to do it. So
Audible.
here at the zoo, that is part of my job, but I'm going to have to pass because right now the monkeys and I are not getting along. So
Audible.
I'm going to have to pass doing that right now because I've been having a little bit of difficulty with the feeding schedule. It just doesn't work. I'm a night person there, and I'm having difficulty. So unless you can find someone to cover the night shift, I do the day. I'm a morning person.
Audible.
You're not letting her go, are you?
I'm a lunchtime worker only.
Audible.
Basically, I'm just a big fat liar, and all I do is work. So sure, I'll do it for you. What else do you want?
Well, that's really nice of you. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, if it's helpful to you, I'll come back every Tuesday and Thursday between 1 and 2:15 a.m.
Audible.
I would be happy to come by every July 15th because I know that's a slow day, and it'd probably be pretty easy for me if that's helpful.
Could you just leave me some notes about the different animals in the zoo that may have some quirks or extra care needs and what have you? Because I want to make sure that I cover your job the best while you get paid in full.
Absolutely, but the one I think the notes that I'm probably going to leave you the most about are the elephants because of the size of their poops.
Audible.
I think I'm going to leave you a note about the elephant because of the size of their herd. Seems to be
Audible.
I'm going to leave you a note about the monkeys because they have a rumor about the size of the elephants. You know what? Because they've been actually talking about you a bit too, from what I hear, Miss Elsie. They don't seem to like you very much.
Well, that's why I tried to tell you I didn't want to do this job.
Okay.
But of course I'll do it because, why not? So
Audible.
So of course I'll do it, but I'll probably replace you while you're done.
And scene. Thank you very much, Elsie. Thank you, Dresden. That was funny. Good job. All right. So yay. All right. So Chris and Dresden. Elsie, can you please think of a relationship that Chris and Dresden have, any relationship in the world? I'll call Audible and we'll see how this goes.
They're both trapeze artists in the circus.
Oh, well, obviously. So very nice. So Chris and Dresden, much to apparently Chris's chagrin as I read his face, are trapeze artists in the circus. And this is Audible. Dresden, why don't you lead the way if you would?
Okay. Excuse me. Would you be able to hold me right here? Because if you hold me here, I can jump a little higher. So remember the other day I asked you to do it and you didn't, and I kind of fell a little bit.
Audible.
Yes, I am so sorry about that.
Slipped out of my costume a little bit, and it was a little embarrassing. So what do you think? Could you help me?
Sure, no problem. I can do that. I'm just letting you know why I couldn't really do it because I never broke the news to this before. I've been dealing with a fear of heights.
We're trapeze artists.
Yes, I know. That's what makes it very difficult.
Audible.
Yes, I know. That's what makes it easy to grab at your clothes. I'm also very attracted to you. I also have a fear of commitment as well as heights.
Very good.
Well, this is a lot to tell me while I'm standing on this pretty thin wire.
Audible.
I'm standing here, riding on the back of an elephant trying to climb up a pole. And I might need you to grab at my clothes, but now things are a little uncomfortable. But I guess I'm attracted to you too, but not going to see a lot of you now with you way down there and me way up here. So, do you think we can continue the act? What are we going to do?
Maybe we can get married on the wire.
Audible.
Maybe we could have lunch on the wire.
Audible.
Maybe we can climb off the wire and elope, riding the elephant.
If we were going to do that, you'd be willing to be on the wire and the whole trapeze act just one last time, maybe? And
I didn't say that.
Well, how would we get married or elope on the wire if you're not willing to embrace your fear of heights just yet?
Audible.
If you're not willing to fall in love with the elephant as well as much as you love me. That was really
Audible.
Or if maybe we could tie a big rope to you or something just so we can get through the ceremony. But would you still let me do the high wire act even if you're now on the ground?
Of course, because I'm afraid of heights. I would love for you to do the high wire act.
Audible.
Of course, I would love for you to do the high wire act while I watch Sitting on the Elephant.
And scene. I think that's a good place to stop. Very nice.
I think 3 times ago is a good place. Yay, Chris!
Chris, thank you for being a good sport. Very funny. Very, very
I'm
funny.
afraid of heights.
All right. We're going to pause briefly. When we come back, we're going to be talking all about Chris Murphy with Chris Murphy on the Chris Murphy Show right after this.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Funny People Talking and Elsie at Elsie the Producer. And please, for the love of all that is holy, subscribe to the show and leave us a damn review and a really, really good rating on iTunes. Pretty please? Thank you.
Okay, Chris Murphy, comedian, writer, teacher. Maybe I could lead this off just by asking you, how many years have you been doing comedy, let's say professionally or semi-professionally?
It's gotten to the point now where I'm doing it so long, when comics ask me, I lie and say I've been doing it less years. So it doesn't sound like I'm a bigger loser for not being famous yet. So
I noticed when Mark kept saying like 25 years, you weren't really enjoying him.
Yeah, sorry about
pounding on the tenure.
Well, no, it's fine. It just reminded me I haven't done enough with it. As a boy, that went by fast.
So let me ask you this then. So as you think about the very first times you did comedy and you thought about, gosh, if only I get to do this, that'll be something. And you compare that dream with where you are now. Do you think you accomplished some of those things and then the dream got bigger? Or do you feel that you're still on your way to that dream?
I think in life, we always feel like we're on our way to the dream, because if we don't really have a reason to be awake. We have to have some sort of dream in order to be awake and really enjoy life, because the dream gives you hope.
Like I'm ready.
Because life is crappy. So the dream is almost like when there are some people I think who pray to God and believe in God because it makes life easier for them, but they may not even believe in God. So the dream for me just makes life easier to cope with. When you have hope, you go, oh, all right, well, at least I can grasp onto that. And it's not always real. Dreams aren't always real. That's what they're called, dreams.
I wasn't even sure I was going to mention this quite yet, but may I ask you about the cancer?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Which one? I've had several.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, so the reason I bring it up...
but it's not as bad as it sounds. The other ones were basal cell carcinoma, which, as you know, you just yank it out. You surgically remove it, and it's gone. It's 100% curable. But during the quarantine, what I did for 8.5 months, I used this cream called Curaderm. It's very nasty. Like it's when you first put it on, it gets worse and worse. But you keep putting on. Eventually, the basal cell goes away without scarring. So that's what I did. I used the quarantine time. This is perfect. I can get rid of all these skin cancers without scarring. So that's what I did. The other one was in the lymph nodes, and it was head and neck cancer, and it was spreading. But luckily, many surgeons didn't want to do the surgery because it was too close to the jugular vein, the tumor. But I found a doctor. I found a guy.
Some guy down on 37th Street.
I got a guy.
He's a jugular guy.
One of the top surgeons in the country. He was a top 3,000 doctor in the United States, and Dr. Charles Erkin, and he performed the surgery. There was 3 surgeries altogether. The cancer luckily has been gone. What they wanted me to do, they wanted me to do radiation. Just be on the safe side, make sure they get all the cancer. But part of the radiation was you have to eat through a feeding tube for 10 months. You will lose your taste buds, supposedly temporary, but maybe not. When I heard losing the taste buds, I just said no. So he was a great surgeon, but I felt it was time for me to go to more healers after that. So I went to Mexico, and I got ozone therapy, which is illegal in the United States, but legal everywhere else in the world. It started in Germany. That's where they take your blood out, they pump it with extra oxygen because cancer can't live in an oxygenated environment, and they put it back into your bloodstream. So I did that. Laetrile, which sounds like a drug, but it's not. It's vitamin B17. In 1980, the FDA changed the name from from B17 to Laetrile to make it sound like a drug, and then they banned it. You can get it in apricot seeds, but then they banned apricot seed sales in health food stores, which probably is the best thing because they can be bitter. You eat too much of them. So I was taking vitamin B17, and there's a place called the Huxley Clinic, which specializes in skin cancer and breast cancer, but all cancers. That was invented in the 1840s, and he was drummed out at the AMA. They wait and look at his stats, and they're doing good work down there. So I was on the tonic for a couple of years too. Very strict diet. It was brutal. But that cancer has not come back since 2008.
Knock on wood. Now,
there you go.
First of all, thank you so much, Chris, for opening up about that. It's very kind of you to share that, and very interesting as well. I want you to know the reason I brought it up as I kind of took us down from a funny high here a little bit was because, you talked about hope, and you talked about the importance of comedy. And it occurred to me that you've had a particular big moment in your life in which having that hope mattered, and you had a lot of successful comedians rallying around you to help you raise money and to bring attention to it and to up your spirits and support you. People like Colin Quinn, for example, amongst others. I guess my question is how do you feel that comedy has not just been something that you've delivered to others to give them hope or to entertain and so forth, but how do you think that impacted your own state of mind during some of those darker times?
Oh, I can tell you a perfect example. I think it was a Saturday night before the surgery, which was on a Monday. I was doing a show at the New York Comedy Club, and it was a particularly good show. And for some reason, at the end of my set, I just looked at the crowd and I said, "Thanks a lot. I'll miss you." Because I didn't know. Because I was told by the surgeon, I could die on the table, but if I don't get this done, I'm going to die anyway. So let's just do this. So, all of a sudden you have that doubt whether you're going to live. And I never cried during this cancer thing. It's kind of weird. Oddly enough, a couple years later, I cried when the girl I was supposed to marry, we didn't get together. So I cried about that, but not about cancer. So I'm thinking, well, maybe we have a stronger need for love is stronger than our need for survival.
Wow.
Who knows why that was? So I'm on stage. I got teary-eyed. And the MC, my friend Nicole Kokolas, she was one of the few people who knew. I didn't tell it. Well, first of all, there was no Facebook. There was, but I wasn't on it. And I'm not the kind of person to put my business out in the street to get a couple likes. Everyone's,
Well, you don't really have a social media presence out there. You don't really have a
just Facebook and Instagram, really. I will never go on Twitter.
Yeah,
it's a sewer, and it's I don't care. I don't need to be known that much. So she's coming on stage. She's crying. I have tears in my eyes. And I go in the back room where there was this bathroom, and I'm sitting down. I guess it was the toilet, but I wasn't sitting on it. It was covered. I wasn't using it. And I just started crying. And then I realized, why am I crying? And I realized I'm going to miss comedy.
Mm.
And there's an old saying that, no one ever says, I wish I spent more time in the office. Well, I did.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, gee, how lucky am I that I chose something that I love so much that's the one thing I'm going to miss if I'm dead. So I'm thinking, I made the right choice. I am successful. Because as a comedian, there's so many different levels you can get. You watch other people get something and you'll know what is success. I said, and then it's cleared up. I'm successful because I made the right choice in doing stand-up comedy. Because we all don't know if we're making the right choice in life. But we're looking back, we could have done this, we could have done that. It's all right. I'm at peace with that. I lived my life the way I was supposed to. And that was the best thing about getting cancer.
Wow.
There's a TED Talk in that, my friend. That's there's TED Talk, a book, whatever.
Yeah.
That is a big deal story. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
I don't want to monopolize the questions here, Dres, but I have one more I'd like to ask if you don't mind.
I really want to ask, Chris.
So why don't you go ahead, Dres?
Thank you. And Chris, if I tell you it's because I didn't fully understand the answer, it's because it's selfishly where I am. It was a video that you shared because you're wonderful about sharing your experience and your traits. And this one was writing good stand-up comedy. And you said, people come up to you all the time and like, what do I write? I don't know what to write. And you said, you have to know how you feel. How do you feel? And I walk around with a notebook or not a notebook, I do it on my phone, and I write down things that I know are going to be funny, and then I string them together and I come up with a stand-up act. I personally am having trouble connecting to that lesson. So I think maybe I'm missing something in my writing and my approach. So can you expand a little bit more on what you meant by how do you feel when you write and deliver the joke?
No, I'm kidding. I made the whole thing up. It's a con.
Chris Murphy, everybody.
Yes.
I know how I'm feeling right now. Damn.
Wow. Nice.
If you can write a check, you can write an act.
There you go.
That's my motto.
There you go.
Sell t-shirts, Chris.
I think the best thing to do is to ask yourself questions, how you feel about something, and eventually your brain will give you an answer to what the really gist of it is, like why you write, because they have to know why they're laughing. The setup is so much more important than a punchline. A punchline cannot stand on its own, but a setup can get laughs.
So what do you mean by they have to know why they're laughing? Like if I told a bunch of jokes of things they could relate to, right? Seinfeld-esque.
Oh, they don't even have to relate to it. They have to know that you can relate to it. And if you say that, okay, for example, my brand new joke is, I'm saying to the people, most people are younger in the crowd than me, much younger. And I said, you guys are going to realize what are compliments now are going to turn to insults when you're older. So I'm putting that in their brain. Then I'm going back to me. For example, I said, if you guys lose weight, your friends go, oh my God, you look great. I'm older. If I lose weight, they go, Chris, are you all right? And that's only funny because you know why you're supposed to laugh. I made it very clear how they're feeling and I'm feeling. How do you feel? How do I feel? Otherwise, the joke is stupid.
Yes, I get it.
And it came from real life experience. Because every March, April, I start losing weight. I haven't started yet. All diets start on Monday or the first of the month. And March 1st was on a Monday, and I still wasn't going on a diet. And and I gained 10 pounds before I start the diet. And whatever. When I was losing weight last year, I lost a lot. People didn't say, "Hey, you look great." I go, are you all right? Because they know about my history of cancer. I can never lose weight without people being worried for me, which is great. So maybe now I'll just eat like a freaking pig. So I'm just gonna move to places where I still need a coat. As long as I have a coat, I will never look fat.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
That is funny. Although someone might ask,
I just made that up right now. So.
I like that.
I can steal it. Thank you.
Although someone might say, are you okay? You've been wearing a coat a lot lately. Are you cold?
Funny. You've been wearing like 3 layers of coats.
That's right. On that note, Chris, Do you feel that the way that you write comedy jokes, assuming that it's been somewhat the same over the years, do you feel that you're a bit of an engineer in strategizing the path that the humor goes versus saying, that's funny, I gotta write that down, I'll work it out, okay, that's a joke in my set and we'll see if that connects, versus going, okay, I'm building something that has almost a blueprint to it, and because I've done this long enough, I know what works, so I almost have to modularly fill those holes where the subject matter is different or the context is different?
I do it both ways. Sometimes a joke would just come to me in conversation. It's difficult having conversations as a working comedian because you're alone a lot. In the workforce, and your friends are comedians, so it's just difficult having the conversation. But I do get jokes through conversation, or if something happens, I'm just aware. I wonder if everyone else has to be thinking this too, because I'm a human being, they're a human being. So let's just talk about this. And I'm really big on recording and then breaking it down. I go into my computer right here and I type all my notes. I listen, I type my notes, how I said it, and in parentheses, I grade the reaction of the joke. And I have a whole ad lib section. I throw it in there. Every bit I have is on my computer on every set, how that actually they reacted. So I spent 2 hours to break down like several shows a night.
Wow, that's fascinating. And do you make a note of like, say, the demographics? So when you're trying to figure it out?
Sometimes I will do that. I will emphasize that they were millennials or they were older people.
Yeah.
Or black or white.
So you're doing like your own analytics based on based on what your ear heard and what your eye saw.
Because now when I go up there, I have experience because I'm breaking so many shows down. I've been doing this process since 2006. So that's like 15 years. So I kind of know what they're going to say before they say it, because I know by the demographics, okay, this is probably going to happen. Not necessarily, but it's probably going to happen.
Got it. So the crowd
and I have an answer right away.
Have any of your comedian friends borrowed your analyses the way you just described it?
I'm free and tell them how I do they ask me, and I said, well, this is what I do. And I don't think any of them have done it because it's too much work.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about somebody outworking me. I'm sure there are a lot of people who do outwork me, but my process isn't for everybody. It's just like the way my brain is wired. So I have no problem telling them what I'm, plus it may help them. I'm not going to be around forever, so it may help them. And they usually don't. They have tried and go, how the hell do you do that? So I don't know.
Are you excited to share your wisdom with the folks at AHA?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's like watching like a 4-year-old on Christmas. You never get tired of that, even though you've seen Christmas over and over and over again. But when you watch it through a 4-year-old's eye, it's always a blast because it's so new to them.
That's nice.
That's fantastic. I wish you luck with that new gig. That's awesome.
Chris, something that I found that seems to be common with comedians that we talk with is that there are jokes that throughout their career they keep testing and maybe they never quite work, and they're hoping they'll find the path to that joke really hitting. They believe in it and they keep pulling it out from time to time. It just never quite works the way they want, but they still believe in it. Or there's also those jokes they go, this is never going to work, and it kills and it shocks them. Either one of those two ideas connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Over the years, I don't know why they don't think it's funny, but most of the time it's because you weren't a good enough comedian or you just weren't communicating it properly. There's a germ of funny there. But there's all different kinds of comedy. There's sketch, there's improv, there's movies, and there's stand-up. And maybe this isn't appropriate for a stand-up, with the audience, total strangers. But you can make it work eventually. I had a joke that never worked, and for some reason, all of a sudden, it just started working.
What was the joke?
A little bit of tinkering. I said, well, there's some people down south in my crowd, and I said, I would say, if I was a serial killer, I did a show in Alabama. I learned one thing: if I was a serial killer, I would definitely go to Alabama. They would never catch me because my victims have no dental records.
Oh no.
And sometimes now I'll say, so I was in Alabama and somebody will go, woo, oh, you're from Alabama? Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, then I was in Mississippi. And then,
Let me look at your teeth. Okay.
but Alabama is funnier than Mississippi because of Bama.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That word choice is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Word choice is extremely important.
You know what?
Huge.
I remember reading George Burns's autobiography, and one of the things he talked about is there are just words that are funny, and there are words that are just not, and there may be no way to explain it. Pickle is just a funny word. 7 is a funny number. 12 is not. You know, or
Monkey is funny.
yes, monkey is funny.
Salve is funny. Lotion is not.
That's right. There you go. So anyway, the point is, I get where you're coming from because that seems to be there's just truths and we almost don't know why they are. But much like feeling a perfect hit with a baseball bat, you just know it, or a golf club, or you just know. You just thank you for that, Tristan. You know exactly when it's right because you feel it, and is a lot of the sense of when you know a joke is going to work. You almost know it before you even hear the laugh because it just felt right.
Well, the perfect example of that, when I was a kid, I read Groucho Marx's autobiography. And he was saying in a chapter about this, someone asked him if he saw the play Oh, Calcutta. And he said, no, I just took my clothes off, stood in the mirror, and I saved $7. I think that's $1. And he said, I just distinctly knew it was funny to say 7. And I, as a kid, said, well, I think it's funny because you said the word saved as well. I'm thinking to myself, because of the double S. Alliteration, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, right.
It's very important. Like Bumblebee is funnier than the Yellow Jacket.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell my students, whenever you can do that, please do it. So I wrote a joke for some kid who was like 12 years old. He was chubby. He was talking about how, he had breasts. And so I said, don't call them breasts, call them boy boobs. So instead of man boobs, it's boy boobs and a double B.
Now his friends will laugh. I just have to commend you for reading as a kid Groucho Marx's biography. That shows that you.
And I didn't want to be a comedian back then. I was just interested. I liked biographies, so if I liked something. I liked the Marx Brothers, so I actually watched. So I would read the books. I read Jack Benny's, and Dick Gregory's, book. So
maybe you are older than you look.
Right. I wish we could go on for 5, 10, 15 hours with you, Chris.
I just want to go back and forth on all the words we think are funny words inherently.
I know. PP. That's got alliteration. So, Chris, one thing we didn't really touch on is you're not just a stand-up comic and a writer and a teacher. You've also been very involved in New York comedy clubs. I believe to some extent managing or running or being involved in them behind the scenes. Is that correct?
I was the Tuesday night manager of the Improv back in the early 90s. I was lucky enough to pass there. Silver Friedman liked me. She passed me. And to this day, I owe her, gratitude for doing that. So she made me her Tuesday night manager. And when I MC, I like to run the show as if I am the manager. But those are the only times, and I'm always being asked to manage clubs. And I always say no. Because managing the clubs, then you're going a different direction. Also, you get comics hating you, and these are my friends, and I'm not very good at saying no to people. So I told one club owner that, no. And he goes, why not? I said, because then I'll be the guy you're firing. Instead of the guy, oh, I wish I had him. So I'd rather stay, oh, I wish I had that guy. So, yeah.
Got it. What are you hearing? What are your feelings about the resurgence of the ability to come back into comedy clubs and the ability for comedians and comedy clubs to meet that in a meaningful way? What's the vibe? What's the feeling going on right now through your lens?
My personal feeling, I'm not sure if it's the greatest idea to let comics and people in who haven't been vaccinated. I don't know. It's like a lot of these comedians, some of the younger ones, don't wear masks and you're touching the microphone. So I'm a little concerned about it. I know we have to open up, but I think we have to take a lot of precautions. It's going to be difficult when people are separated, because whenever you're a comic and you look at the room, you go, who the hell sat these people? One's here, one's there. Every show is going to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, tables won't be right up to the stage anymore. It's going to be an adjustment for a while.
I mean, I'm going to do it because, perform comedy. That's my thing. So I'm doing shows, but that's why I am going to get I wasn't going to get the vaccine. If I'm just in my house all the time, I don't want to be shot up or something, but that's a risk maybe, but definitely COVID's a risk too if I'm out in comedy clubs with people who aren't really wearing masks or keep on shaking your hands.
Yeah.
People like me, all right? So they go, oh, Merv, stop it. Don't touch me.
Just elbow bump.
Yeah.
Work it.
Yes, yeah.
Some people shook hands in front of me the other day and I just cringed. I don't think we'll ever go back to that. The Japanese.
I hope not. I never liked it anyway. I stopped about 5 years ago.
Ooh, how'd you stop? You just keep your hands in your pocket?
Fist bump.
Oh,
I was doing one gig somewhere. God, it was an outdoor gig. It was a nightmare. But I actually did really well. And I'll tell you why in a second. But the guy, I was told by the other comic, was insulted because I wouldn't shake his hand. And as I explained to him, there was one winter I got sick 5 times. I knew because I was emceeing a lot. I was shaking everyone's hands. So the outdoor gig was in front of a tree. I was in front of a tree. And there was like a bunch of people like in front of me in my little patio. Everyone in their 60s and over. And it was like just a weird setup. But I did really well because one of the things, it was in August. One of the things I said was, this is great. If I bomb, I have my own crickets right here. So every time I would do a joke, you would hear crickets. I go, hit it. And so I killed.
That is a great note.
See, girls goes, oh, I'll have to use it next week. I go, no, you won't. You didn't write it. You can't use it. And I get so annoyed when people go, oh, no. If you don't write it, you don't do it. You don't say it. So
and that's why I wasn't really feeling that line earlier. That was awesome.
Oh, I didn't do that. But
is great.
And comedians in general, they always will do. I go, young comics. I go, when I say young, people are starting out. I said, no, that's not how it works. You make up your own thing, and you get it right to it bombs, and you get it right. But yeah, that actually saved my life.
So Chris, how can people find you, connect with you, however they can find out where you are and see the things you're doing, what have you?
There's Instagram, Chris Murphy, comedian. It's all one word because there's so many Chris Murphys in the world. There's Facebook, I guess, but those are only 2 platforms that I have. So Instagram is probably the best way.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
All right, well,
they can have it there. I won't follow them back. This way I have a nice ratio.
He's got 7 people following him, but he's only following 1, so the ratio is no.
I just got to add this. Do you guys know about Kentucky Fried Chicken? You know they only follow 11 herbs and spices.
Oh yeah.
They only follow the Spice Girls and guys named Herb. That adds up to 11. Herb. That's it. Isn't that hilarious?
I love it.
I wonder who came up with that idea in the meeting.
That's brilliant.
Ingenious. So go when everybody go to Twitter, Kentucky Fried Chicken. They're following 11 people, the Spice Girls, and a random number of guys named Herb to get to 11.
I wish I was in that meeting when that was decided. They've been discussing ideas and brainstorming for about 6 hours. They've gone through a number of beers. Everyone's plastered. Someone goes, oh my God, I got it. This is brilliant. And no one remembered it the next day, but it was just anyway, all kidding aside, Chris Murphy, a gentleman, a literal scholar, a writer, an incredible comedian with a real tenure on stage, a beautiful human being, a very kind man, and obviously working with Aha Broadway now. I'm very excited about that. Chris, thank you so much for the pleasure of spending a little time with you. It really was quite insightful and very fun. Thank you.
It was great. It was definitely my pleasure. Anytime I get practice on Zoom, I'm all about that.
Well, I'm glad we could serve. All right, Chris Murphy, best of luck to you. That's it for this episode. Yeah, that's it for this episode of Funny People Talking. So happy you were here, everybody, for our producer, Elsie.
Thanks a lot.
And my good friend, Dresden.
Ciao, ciao.
I'm Mark Grako. Have a great day, everybody. And by the way, don't forget, stay funny.
That's it? That's the end of the show?
Boy, what a crock. This was Funny People Talking. No portion of the content may be reproduced or published without the strict written permission of the producers. Connect with our show at Funny People Talking or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. I'm your announcer, Peter Coleman. Thanks for listening.
This is Mouth Media Network, the business of being heard.